Hey guys, welcome back to another Pokemon challenge. Last time, we managed to beat Pokemon Scarlet with a team of only one Flamigo. That one was pretty easy thanks to how strong Flamigo is. This time, we're going to try something much harder. Today, we're going to find out whether I can beat Pokemon Sword with a team of only one Yamper. Overall, Yamper is a really weak electric type Pokemon, with stats as low as some baby Pokemon. That speed stat is especially bad. We're probably going to be slower than just about everything we fight. Since we're electric type, we're only weak to ground, though with defense as low as this, it probably won't make much difference. Looking at its level up moveset, and honestly it isn't too bad. Punch and Play Rough are pretty solid moves. Wild Charge is kinda tempting, but we're way too frail to be taking recoil damage. Looking at the TMs and TRs, and there's a couple decent options here. Dig and Fire Fang are decent coverage moves that could end up being pretty useful. Snarl, while weaker than Crunch, does lower the target's special attack stat, which could help us out in a pinch. Thunderbolts is something I'll have to make sure I pick up though, since it will probably end up being our strongest attack. Also, I'm going to be writing this script as I go through the challenge, so this part is being written before it started, so throw a comment down below guessing whether I'll win or not. Honestly, this one's going to be really tough. Raihan has a bunch of strong ground types, and Leon is known for being one of the tougher champions out there. We're probably going to have to be near max level to even stand a chance. Now for the rules. In combat, I can only use Yamper. No glitches or exploits allowed, and no items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of combat are allowed. And lastly, no Dynamaxing, will make things a bit more interesting. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and let me know what challenges you'd like me to do in the future. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Now, since I can't change my starters on the Switch, I'll have to catch a Yamper later on, but before that, I need to pick a starter. I go with Scorbunny, so Hop will end up with Rillaboom, probably the hardest for us to fight. With the starters out of the way, I go through the early parts of the game, then I catch my Yamper. I name him Albert, because doesn't he just look like an Albert to you? His nature is careful, meaning more special defense than less special attack. It's not the most ideal nature, but it's manageable. At least I don't lose any more speed. With Albert caught, we headed off to meet the Professor, where we ended up being challenged to a battle by Hop. Well, that's not a great start. We managed to take out his Wooloo without too much trouble, but next up is Grookey, and we get destroyed. We can barely damage it normally, but to rub it in, he kept spamming Growl, sending our attack into the ground. Luckily, we don't have to win this fight to progress, but I am not looking forward to future rival fights if this is how they're going to go now. Once the battle was done, we were given the Dynamax band, something that will remain completely unused for the entire challenge. With everything in Wedgehurst done, we hop on a train and head to the wild area. The wild area is something that's going to be very useful throughout this challenge, thanks to all the dens you can fight. By beating the dens, we're able to get a bunch of XP candies, which save us a lot of grinding later on. Though the higher level dens may be quite difficult for us to deal with, but we'll worry about that later. Once I made it through the wild area, I made it to Motorstoke, where I had my first encounter with Team Yell, but I beat them easily enough. With Team Yell beat for now, we get our uniform and can officially begin the gym challenge. First up, we need to head to Turffield to fight the grass gym, but before that, we have a battle against Hop. Well, that sucks. First up is Wooloo, who goes down without too much trouble, but not before they get healed with a potion and get a Growl off, lowering our attack. Next is Grookey, but they keep hitting us with Growl, so we could hardly hurt them. I tried to counter it with Tail Whip, but we still got taken down. I think I just need to do a bit more damage so the Wooloo doesn't lower my attack before the Grookey. I used some of the XP candies from the dens I got earlier to get Albert up to level 15 and see how we do. First up is Wooloo, and we use Nuzzle to paralyze him, but not before getting crit by Tackle. They were fully paralysed the next turn though, letting us take it down with 2 bites. Next is Grookey. I made sure to paralyse them with Nuzzles, they were slower than us, as they hit us with Tackle. I started hitting them with Bite, but they used Growl, lowering our attack. We traded a few blows until they used Taunt, followed by another Growl, meaning our attack is much slower and we don't have a way of fixing that for another few turns. I barely do any damage as Hop uses a potion. I kept chipping away at them until the Taunt wore off, then we had another small exchange of Tail Whip and Growl. Luckily, they got fully paralysed, giving us a chance to attack. We took them down the next turn, but not before being hit by another Growl. Last up was Rockadee, but they were taken down with a few Nuzzles. That Grookey is giving me some serious problems right now. I am not looking forward to when it evolves and becomes even more tanky than it already is. With Hop defeated, we can start heading over to Turffield, but before we get there, we find Bidet, who challenges us to a battle. First up is Solosis, who survives on just 2 HP from Bite, and then uses Endeavour, bringing us down to 2 HP as well. One more bite took it out. Next up is Gafisa, who outspeeds us and takes us down. Okay, that's a bit annoying. Should be fine if I use Tail Whip to lower Solosis' defense before using 1 bite though. few tries later, and this is how it goes. First up is Solosis. I use Tail upon them, lowering its defense as it hits us with Endeavour, doing a decent chunk of damage. One bite takes it out. Next is Gafita, who outspeeds us and hits us with a Side Beam as we hit Spark, paralysing it. One more Spark took it down. Last is Hatena. We hit it with Spark, bringing it down to half health as it hits us with Confusion, confusing us in the process. We managed to attack through the Confusion though and take it down with one more Spark. That wasn't too bad. Most of the problems came from a few gimmicks from our Pokemon, and some bad luck. With Bidet beaten, we finally arrive at Turffield, where we can challenge the Grass Gym. Before that though is a gym mission, which for the Grass Gym is just to herd some Wooloo into a goal 3 times. With that done, it's time to take on Milo, the Grass-type gym leader. Yeah, we're not ready for this yet. We managed to take down Gossifleur, but we're left with only 21 HP, meaning we get one shot by Max Overgrowth from Eldegoss. I'm going to get to level 25 and see how we do. Level 25 and we're still not ready for this. I retaught Albert Nuzzle so we could paralyse the Pokemon to see if that would help. We got really lucky with Gossifleur as it was paralysed and flinched, meaning we got to Eldegoss with almost full HP, but it didn't make much difference. Max Overgrowth just does way too much damage to us. If I can't win with that level of luck, then we don't stand a chance yet. I don't see any other options right now outside of leveling more. I'm going to keep increasing my level until I think I can win. After grinding to level 30 by killing a few Galarian Meowths and getting some extra attack EVs, this is how it goes. First up is Gossifleur, who we paralyse with Nuzzle as we get hit by round. We hit it with Crunch as we get hit with another round. One more Crunch takes it out. Next up is Eldegoss, who Dynamaxes and hits us with Max Overgrowth as we paralyse it with Nuzzle. We hit another Crunch as Max Strike takes us down to just 27 HP, but we heal up to 41 thanks to an Oran Berry and Grassy Terrain. We hit another Crunch as we get hit with one more Max Overgrowth, leaving us on just 14 HP as Eldegoss runs out of Dynamax. Grassy Terrain heals us up to 18. We hit Crunch, leaving them just above half health, and we survive a round with just 5 HP. One more Crunch puts them in red as they get fully paralysed, letting us win with one more Crunch. Well, that was much more painful than I expected. I guess I didn't realise just how tanky Eldegoss can be. With the Grass Gym beaten, we get a Grass Badge. Our next destination is Hulbury to take on the Water Gym, but that should be a cakewalk compared to the Grass Gym. But first, we've got another rival battle against Hop. First up is Wooloo, who's a one-shot with Spark. Next is Thwacky, who went down with a few crunches, but not before getting us down to just 18 HP. Last is Corpusquire. They used Fury Attack, but it only hit us twice. One Spark took it down. Well, that was much easier than last time. But then again, I am pretty over-leveled thanks to the Grass Gym. With Hop beaten, we arrived at Hulbury and we were ready to take on the Water Gym. But before that, I found a Magnet and Shell Bell. Both of these items are really good for us. For now, I'll give Albert the Magnet to make its Electric type moves more powerful. The gym mission this time is just completing a relatively simple puzzle. With that out of the way, it's time to take on Nessa, the Water type gym leader. Yeah, that was really easy. First up is Gordie, who I paralysed with Nuzzle, then take it down with Spark. Next is Arrokuda, who goes down the exact same way. Last is her Dreadnought, who she Dynamaxes. We paralyse it with Nuzzle, but not before it hits us with Max Geyser, leaving us with half health and setting up the rain, meaning the next one would hit even harder. Or at least, it would have if it ever hit us with it. For the rest of the fight, Dreadnought was fully paralysed, so it never hit us again. We finished it off with a few sparks, winning us the fight. I mean, I figured it would be easy, but that was easier than I thought. Though, to be fair, I did get very lucky with the paralysis. Next up is the Fire Gym back in Motorstoke, but before that, we have another battle against Bidet. This fight was really easy. Solosis, Gothita, and Hatena were all a one-shot with Crunch, and last for the Galarian Ponyta, which went down with a couple sparks. Once Bidet was dealt with, we continued on our way to Motorstoke. Once we get there, Milo challenged us to a battle. First up is Kurogunk, who's a one-shot with Spark. Next is Scraggy, who hits us with Headbutt as we hit it with Spark. One more Spark takes it down. Last is Morpeko, and we really don't have a great answer for it. It resists both electric and dark moves and ends up taking us out. I think if I try and use Charm to lower Morpeko's attack, it shouldn't be too bad. 7 tries later and I still can't beat the Morpeko. Kurogunk doesn't always get one shot, which means we get hit with Revenge and don't have enough HP for Morpeko. I had one run where I got to Morpeko without taking any damage, but then I flinched 3 times in a row. I'm pretty sure if I level up once, I can consistently one-shot Kurogunk, which should let me take out Morpeko. I have a few rare candies left over from the raid dens, so I'll just use those. 11 more tries and I still can't beat this Morpeko. I constantly get either flinched or crit. I know I can win this at the level I'm at, but the game just will not let me. I am going to use the rest of my rare candies to get to level 38 and keep trying. It still took another 8 tries. I didn't change anything. I could have done this at my original level. It just took that long to finally get lucky enough to not get flinched several times in a row. That one fight took me almost an hour and a half and took 26 tries in total. Anyways, with Marnie finally out of the way, we can finally go on and challenge the gym. Honestly, I'm not sure how this is going to go. His team is pretty strong, and if I'm being honest, Marnie has completely shattered any confidence I had. I guess we'll have to just see how it goes. But before that, we have to complete the gym mission. This one's pretty easy, we just need to get 5 points by either killing or capturing some Pokemon. With the gym mission out of the way, it's time to face Kabu, the Fire-type gym leader. Yeah, this one's gonna be rough. Ninetales is first, who hits us with Will-O-Wisp, so we're burned, meaning our attack is cut in half, as well as we take chip damage every turn. We can take it out, but next is Arcanine, who has Intimidate, so attack is even lower now, meaning we can hardly hurt it. I'm gonna have to give Albert a Rawst Berry to help with the burn to see if that makes our lives easier, but I'm pretty confident we're gonna have to grind no matter what. Yeah, the berry made no difference. Ninetales just burns us again right afterwards, meaning we're still burnt and barely do anything to the Arcanine. I think I'm going to need to be fast with Ninetales to stand a chance, so we can avoid getting burnt a second time. Level 40 and it's still a no-go. I managed to get the TR for Thunderbolt, so we're not as badly affected by burn now, but we still end up at half health by the time we get to Arcanine. I'm going to keep leveling. Level 42, and we're getting closer. Arcanine is now a 2-shot with Thunderbolt if I use the Magnet, but we end up with next to no health going into Center Scorch. Level 45, and we can get to Center Scorch now, but they hit us way too hard with Max Flutterby, which also lowers our special attack. Okay, I had to get to level 60, but this is how it went. First up is Ninetales, who hits us with Will-O-Wisp, burning us. We then heal it with Rawst Berry, and then take it out with one Thunderbolt. Next was Arcanine, who hits us with Flame Wheel for neglectable damage. We then one-shot it with Thunderbolt. Last is Center Scorch, which he Gigantamaxes. We're fast run it though and hit it with Charm, lowering its attack by 2 stages as it hits us with Gmax Centinferno, which doesn't do too much damage, but does put us in a Fire Spin. We then crit it with Thunderbolt, leaving it as a third as it uses another Gmax Centinferno. One more Thunderbolt takes it down. That fight was so much harder than I thought it would be, but it ended up really messing us up, a lot more than I thought it would. Especially when it was stacked with the Fire Spin from Gmax Inferno. But anyways, with the Fire Gym now dealt with, we can begin heading to Stolen Slide to take on the Fighting Gym. But before that, we have another rival fight against Hop. First up is this Cramorant, who's a one-shot with Thunderbolt. Next is the Cobra, who goes down with a Play Rough and a Crunch. Next is Thwacky, who goes down the exact same way, and last is Toxel, who's a one-shot with Crunch. With Hop out of the way, it's time to take on the Fighting Gym. First up is the gym mission, which is just spinning a cup along a short course and battling a few trainers. It's pretty easy. With that out of the way, it's time to fight B, the fighting type gym leader. Well, that was the easiest gym so far. Hitmontop, Pangoro and Surfetch were all a one-shot with Play Rough, and last was a Machamp, which Gigantamaxed. It hit us pretty hard with Max Strike, but 2 Play Roughs took it out easy. Next is the Fairy Gym, but I'm not all too confident. We had a good move for the Fighting Gym, but we don't really have anything good for the Fairy Gym. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but we'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, we've got another fight against Bidet. Well, that was easy. It was a one-shot sweep with Crunch. He didn't even get hit. With Bidet dealt with, we're off to Balanlia to take on the Fairy Gym. First up is the gym challenge though, we have to complete a quiz and battle some trainers. Now it's time to face Opal, the Fairy type gym leader. Also, quick note, in this gym, we get asked questions throughout the battle that either increase or decrease our stats if we get them right or wrong. First up is Galarian Weezing. We hit it with Thunderbolt to get it to red as it hits us with Sludge, poisoning us. We then get the answer to a question wrong, lowering our speed by 2 stages. We get hit with another Sludge as we take it down with Crunch. Next is Morwhile, who uses Iron Defense, but we take it down with one Thunderbolt. Next is Togekiss, who hits us with Draining Kiss. We get it to a sliver with Thunderbolt as we die to poison. Yeah, that was just unlucky. We should be fine as long as we don't get poisoned. I'll give it another few tries. 2 tries later, and this is how it goes. First is Glaring Weezing, who survives a Thunderbolt and hits us with Sludge. We get the question right this time, so we get a speed boost. One more Thunderbolt takes it down. Next is Morwhile, who's a one-shot with Thunderbolt, and next is Togekiss, who survives a Thunderbolt with a sliver of health as it hits us with Draining Kiss. We then get the next question right, giving us a buff to our defences. One more Thunderbolt takes it down. Last is Hero Creamy, who Gigantamaxes, and we begin an exchange with us using Thunderbolt and her using G-Max for Marnie. When the Gigantamax wears off, we get the last question correct, giving us a buff to our attack, letting us finish it off with one more Thunderbolt. That one wasn't too bad. Next we're heading to Sirchester to face the Rock Gym. I'm honestly not too sure how this one's going to go. Most of our Pokemon don't have great special defense, so Thunderbolt should do pretty well against them. But first we've got another rival battle against Hop. First up is Trevenant, who's a one-shot with Crunch. Next is Snorlax, which is insanely tanky. It takes 3 hits to KO as it gets us down to half health with Body Slams. Next is Heatmore, who survives a Thunderbolt and hits us with Fire Lash, leaving us with a third health and lowering our defense. One more Thunderbolt takes it out. Next is Boltund, but he's faster than us and takes us down with Crunch. That's a bit annoying. I picked up the TM for Dig a while ago, so I'll teach Albert that to see if it helps us deal with Heatmore and Boltund. Also, can I just point out the audacity of Hop beating us with a Boltund? It's literally just Albert's dad. Anyway, a couple tries later and we get a win. First up was Trevenant, who's still a one-shot with Crunch. Next is Snorlax, who uses Stockpile, raining its defense as we use Crunch. We crit the next Crunch as it goes for another Stockpile. One more Crunch takes it down. Next is Heatmore, who's a one-shot with Dig, and then it's Boltund, who hits us with Crunch as we take it down with Dig. Last is Rillaboom, who hits us hard with Drum Beating. I decided to teach Albert Fire Fang as well for now to help deal with this one. When Fire Fang got it down to half health, we get hit with another Drum Beating, leaving us on just 22 HP as we take it out with one more Fire Fang. We've got a pretty decent variety of moves for now, so hopefully we won't end up in a position like the Grass Gym again. With Hop Beaten, we continued on our way to Sirchester to face a Rock Gym. First up is a gym mission though. This time we just have to use a trap detector to navigate around a platform while avoiding the pitfalls. It's not difficult, but it is a bit annoying. Before the fighting gym leader, I made sure to equip the soft sand item to boost the damage of Dig. With that done, it's time to fight Gordie, the rock type gym leader. First up is Barbaracle, who hits us with Razor Shell, taking out a third of our health and decreasing our defense. One Thunderbolt takes it out. Next is Shuckle, who is insanely tanky. It takes 4 Thunderbolts to take it out as we get hit with 3 Rock Tombs, lowering our speed by 3 stages. Next is Stonejourner, who takes us out with Rock Tomb. Well, that was a bit annoying. We should be able to win if we can avoid getting our defense lowered. I'm pretty confident Dig will do enough damage for now, so I'm going to put the Magnet back on Albert to see if we can take out the Shuckle a bit easier. Yeah, we're just not getting lucky enough. Our main problem is we have to try and avoid getting our speed lowered by 2 stages, since that means Colossal outspeeds us and can take us out. I've got a couple rare candies left over from grinding dens earlier, so I'm going to get to level 66 and see if we can either outspeed Barbaracle or KO Shuckle in 2 hits. First up is Barbaracle, who goes for Shell Smash, lowering its defences and raising its attack and speed, letting us take it out with 1 Thunderbolt without getting hit. Next is Shuckle. We hit it for just under half its health with Thunderbolt as it misses Rock Tomb. This one we were able to take it out while only getting our speed lowered once. Stonejourner's next, who uses Wonder Room, switching every Pokemon's physical and special defense. Luckily, this means it's now got much worse physical defense, letting us one-shot it with Dig. Last is Colossal, who he Gigantamaxes. We use Dig and avoid his G-Max Volcalith. We hit it with Dig, taking it down to a third as it hits us with G-Max Volcalith, which sends up stones to damage us each turn. We go for Dig and avoid its Max Flare as the stones bring us down to just 41 HP. We hit it with Dig, which takes it down, winning us the fight. That wasn't too bad. The extra levels I got in the end really didn't do much, but oh well. Next is the Dark Gym, which I'm really not too worried about. The entire gym is cripplingly weak to play rough. Plus, I don't have to worry about facing a Dynamax Pokemon at the end. But before we get the chance to leave, Hop challenges us to another fight. Yeah, we get wrecked. During this whole fight, we have to deal with Hail, which does chip damage every single turn. First is Double, who gets us down to a third with Takedown as 2 Thunderbolts take it out. Next is Snorlax, but it's way too tanky and hits way too hard with Body Slam. That combined with the Hail takes us down pretty quickly. Yeah, Snorlax just does way too much damage to us at the moment. I'm pretty sure we need to be able to two-shot it before we can win this. I still have some more rare candies, so I'll use them to level up. While I was using the rare candies, I ended up reaching level 69. Nice. Using all my rare candies got me to level 73, but it's made no difference. We just take way too much damage from the hail. Honestly, I probably would have won by now if it wasn't for that. It's time to start grinding. I just ran around and took on a bunch of dens to get a bunch of XP candies, since that would be quicker than grinding on wild Pokemon, but we do lose out on getting the EVs. Once I gathered enough candies, I use them to slowly level up and see what level I have to be to win. Okay, I had to get to level 87 in order to win. I also switched out the magnet for the shell bell to try and negate the hail damage, since that was the main issue we were facing. First up is Double, who uses Defense Coat as we bring it down to a sliver with Thunderbolt. It then dies to the hail. Next is Snorlax. Playrough takes it down to a third as we get hit with Body Slam, but more Playrough takes it down. Up next is Rillaboom, who gets us down to just above half health with Drum Beating, which also lowers our speed. We hit it with Fire Fang, bringing it down to red health. Hop then uses a Super Potion as we hit it with Fire Fang again, bring it down to red health again. Another Drum Beating takes us down to just above red health as we finish it off with Fire Fang. Next is Pincurchin, who goes down with one dig, but Hail takes us down to just 40 health. Last is Corviknight, which hits us with a weak Draw Peck as we take it down with one Thunderbolt. Can I just say, for the record, I hate Hail. I could have won that battle like 20 levels earlier if it wasn't for the Hail. Anyway, once I finally beat Hop, we can continue on to Spikemuth to take on the Dark Gym. Once we arrive, we get challenged to a battle by Marnie. First up is Leopard, who hits us with Sucker Punch as we one-shot it with Play Rough. Next is Torkoal, who hits us with Poison Jab as we one-shot it with Thunderbolt. Up next is Scrafty, who hits a one-shot with Play Rough. Last is the spawn of Satan, which hits us with Torment as we take it down with one Play Rough. With Marnie beat, it's time to head to the Dark Gym. Yeah, so it wouldn't let me in the gym with only Albert, since apparently there's a double battle. I looked it up, and according to Google, it said you needed 4 Pokemon in your party to take on the gym. So before we go in, we'll have to go and recruit some worthy allies. With Fish, and Fish captured, we can take on the gym. First up is the gym mission, which is just beating some trainers. Now it's time to face Piers, the Dark-type gym leader. First up is Crafty, who lowers our attack for the whole fight with Intimidate. We take it out with one Play Rough. Next is Malamar, who survives a Play Rough and hits us with Foul Play. We then take it out with Thunderbolt. Next is Obstagoon, which uses Obstruct, which protects it from our Play Rough and lowers our defense. We hit it with Play Rough for a third as it hits us with Throat Chop. One more Obstruct lowers our defense again as it finishes off with Throat Chop. Yeah, I'm pretty sure relearning Charm should solve the problem of Obstruct. It took a couple tries, but this is how it went. First up is Scrafty, who lowers our attack from Intimidate as we take it out with Play Rough. Next is Malamar, who we put to red health with Play Rough as it hits us with a weak Payback. Thunderbolt takes it down. Next is Obstagoon. We use Charm to lower its attack as it uses Obstruct. We then hit it with Thunderbolt as it hits us with Throat Chop. It obstructs again, blocking our next Thunderbolt. It hits us with one more Throat Chop as we take it down with Thunderbolt. Last is Skuntank, and we use Dig as it poisons us with Toxic while we're underground, but we heal it with a Petra Berry I gave it before the battle. We hit it with Dig, bringing it to red health as it tries to use Screech but misses. We get hit with Sucker Punch as we hit Thunderbolt, taking it down. It admittedly took a few more tries than I thought it would, but it was still an easy fight. One thing I want to know though is, why can Toxic still hit you when you're underground? How does that work? Anyways, now that we've beaten Piers, we've only got one gym left, the Dragon Gym. But if I'm being honest, I think that one is going to be awful. Not only is it a double battle, but half of his team are ground type, and they set up a Sandstorm which will do constant chip damage. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if I had to get to level 100 to win, and I'm not really sure even that will be enough. But I guess we'll have to find out. First up is the gym mission, which is just 3 trainers we have to beat in double battles. Make sure to bring Fish along, since it only knows Splash. With that out of the way, it's time to take on Raihan, the Dragon-type gym leader. Okay, so we definitely lost, but it honestly wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. First up is Flygon and Gigalith, who set up a Sandstorm with his Sandstream ability. Flygon takes out Fish with Thunder Punch as we take it out with Play Rough. Gigalith hits us with a pretty weak body slam as he sends out Sandaconda. We use Dig on Gigalith, making Sandaconda and Gigalith miss their attacks. We hit Gigalith, taking it down to red health, as Sandaconda's earth power takes us down to just above half health. Gigalith hits us with another body press, taking us down to a third. We finish off Gigalith with Thunderbolt as Sandaconda uses Protect. Last is Duraludon, who he Gigantamaxes. It hits us with G-Max depletion, leaving us on just 4 health, as we hit Sandaconda with Play Rough, taking it to just above half health. We then get taken out by the Sandstorm. Honestly, that went better than I thought it would. Gigalith doesn't really seem to be too dangerous at the moment, so I'll probably focus on taking out Sandaconda first, leaving just Gigalith and Duraludon. My main problem is the Sandstorm's chip damage though. We just don't have a way of getting rid of it, and the Shell Bow is way too inconsistent with how much we get healed. I was putting this off, but I think it's time to go get the Eviolite. The Eviolite can increase the Pokemon's defense and special defense by 50% each, as long as the Pokemon can still evolve. Since we're already near level 100, there's only so much leveling up can do now, so this will be a big help in reducing the damage we take from regular attacks, though it won't do anything to stop the Sandstorm. So the Eviolite definitely does help reduce the damage we take, but we've encountered an entirely different problem now. Flygon knows Breaking Swipe, which hits both Pokemon and lowers their attack, meaning we can't one-shot Flygon anymore, which lets it hit us twice since it's faster. There isn't any way to avoid it other than hoping it doesn't use it either. The other problem is Gigalith using Sand Tomb. If we get hit with Sand Tomb, we instantly lose the fight. Sand Tomb traps a Pokemon in a Sandstorm for 5 turns, dealing 1/8 of their maximum health each turn. That combined with the 1/16 health we lose from Sandstorm means we lose way too much health each turn. The only good thing is that it can miss. We lost a lot of attempts simply because we got hit by one of those 2 moves. All I can really do at this point is keep trying. I'm going to start leveling up to see if it makes a difference. At level 98, after spending a couple of hours EV training Albert for speed, and after over 30 attempts, this is how it went. First up is Flygon and Gigalith, who set up a Sandstorm with his Sandstream ability. Flygon uses Thunder Punch to take out Fish as we take it out with 1 Play Rough. Gigalith then hits us with a weak body press. Next up is Sandaconda as we use Dig, making both Sandaconda and Gigalith miss. We hit Gigalith with Dig, taking it out, and Sandaconda hits us with Earth Power. Last is his Duraludon, which he Gigantamaxes. We now fast run the Duraludon and use Dig, making it and Sandaconda miss their attacks. We hit Sandaconda with Dig, taking it to half health as Duraludon hits us with a weak Max Knuckle, and Sandaconda hits us with Earth Power, taking us down to a third health as Sandstorm disappears. We go for Dig as Sandaconda uses Protect, and Duraludon uses up their last Gigantamax turn. We hit Sandaconda with Dig, taking it out as it sets up another Sandstorm with its Sand Spit ability. Duraludon then hits us with Stone Edge, taking us down to just 30 health with the Sandstorm. We then go for Dig as it misses another Stone Edge. We hit it and take it out with 1 hit, winning us the fight. That was incredibly painful. It essentially ended up coming down to luck with Flygon and Gigalith, then outspeeding Duraludon. But with that done, we have finally beaten all 8 gym. With all the gym is finally beaten, it's time for the Champion Cup, where we have one last fight against Marnie and Hop. Our first challenger, Marnie. First up is Leopard, who gets us with Torment as we take it down with Play Rough. Next is Scrafty, and since we can't use the same move twice thanks to Torment, we hit it with Thunderbolt, bringing it down to a third, as we get hit with Swagger, sharply raising our attack, but also confusing us. We then finish it off with Fire Fang. Next up is Toxicroak, who is a one-shot with Play Rough. Next is the Spawn Assassin, who hits us with Bite as we go for Dig. It misses the next Bite as we snap out of confusion and take it down with Dig. Last is her Grimmsnarl, who Gigantamaxes, but thanks to the attack buff from Scrafty, it was a one-shot with Play Rough. Well, that was a drastic change on the Dragon Gym. I mean, I figured it would be easier, but still. Anyway, now the Marnie's down, it's time to fight Hop. First up is Double, who gets taken to red health with Thunderbolt as it uses Cotton Guard. Hop then healed it with a full restore, but we take it straight back to red health with another Thunderbolt. One more takes it out. Next is Snorlax. We hit it with Play Rough, taking it down to a third as we get hit with a weak high horsepower. One more Play Rough takes it down. Up next is Pincurchin, who goes down to Dig. Corviknight's next, who uses a one-shot with Thunderbolt, and last is his Rillaboom. He Dynamaxes as we hit it with Fire Fang, taking it down to half health and burning it. He even hits us with Max Quake, but it doesn't hurt us too badly. We then miss our next Fire Fang as we get hit by another Max Quake, taking us down to half health. We then hit the next Fire Fang, taking it down. That might have been the easiest top fight in the entire game. Sure, we didn't have to deal with Hail this time, but still. With Hop beaten, we made it through the Champions Cup and can take on the finals. But first, we have to make our way through Rose Tower and beat Alina. First up is Frostlass, who hits us with Will-O-Wisp, which burns us, meaning our attack is half for the rest of the fight. Thanks to that, it survives a Fire Fang on a third. It then uses Hex as we take it out with Thunderbolt. Next is Milotic, who's a one-shot with Thunderbolt, and up next is Slazzle, who hits us with Venoshock as we take it down with Thunderbolt. Serena is next. Since our attack is lowered, I tried hitting it with Thunderbolt, but it only did about a third. But I did paralyse it. It then hits us with Drop Kick, bringing us down to a third as well as lowering our attack. We hit it with Fire Fang to get it down to a third as it's fully paralysed. One more Fire Fang takes it out. Last is her Garbodor, which Gigantamaxes. We use Dig to avoid its Max Quake. We hit it with Dig, but we barely hurt it thanks to the burn and our attack drop. It hits us with Max Quake, taking us down. I think we should be able to win if I can get rid of burn. None of our team hits us that hard, so I'm going to swap out the Eviolite for a Warberry to get rid of the burn. It took a couple tries, but this is how it went. First up is Frostlass, who uses Will-O-Wisp to burn us, but the Warberry gets rid of it as we take it down with Fire Fang. Next is Milotic. We hit Thunderbolt, taking it down to red health and paralysing it as it uses Aqua Ring. One more Thunderbolt takes it down. Slazzle is next as it hits us with a weak Venoshock. We take it down with Thunderbolt. Up next is Serena, who survives a Fire Fang on a Slither as it hits us with Attract. We manage to attack through the Attract though and finish it off with Thunderbolt. Last is Garbodor, who Gigantamaxes. We hit it with Thunderbolt to avoid its ability Weak Armor from triggering as it hits us with Max Quake, taking us down to a third. We then use Dig as it misses another Max Quake. We hit it with Dig, taking it down. That burn was definitely annoying, but other than that, the fight wasn't too bad. Now that Elena is dealt with, we can finally take on the finals. First person in the finals is Bidet. First up is Morwell, who lowers our attack with Intimidate. Morwell then survives a Fire Fang as it crits us with Play Rough. Bidet then heals it up with a full restore as we crit it, taking it out with Fire Fang. Next is Gardevoir. We take it to below half health with Play Rough as it sets up a Calm Mind. We miss our next Play Rough as we get hit with a strong Psychic, taking us down to just above red health. We then take it out with Play Rough. Up next is Glare and Rapidash, who hits us with Psycho Cut, taking us down to just 11 HP as we deal half its health with Play Rough. It then finishes off with a crit Quick Attack. Okay, to be fair, I did forget to equip a held item for that attempt. Intimidate is pretty annoying, but I think I found a white herb that will cancel out its effects. The next attempt went like this. First up is Morwell, who lowers our attack with Intimidate, but we remove it with the white herb. We then one-shot it with Fire Fang. Gardevoir's next, and they survive a Play Rough on a Slither as they use Wish. Bidet then heals them with a full restore as we take it to half health with Thunderbolt. As it then heals again with Wish. One more Play Rough takes it out. Up next is Galarian Rapidash, who hits us with a Psycho Cut as we take it to red health with Thunderbolt, paralysing it. One more Thunderbolt takes it out. Last is Hatune, who he Gigantamaxes. We use Dig to avoid G-Max Smite. Dig does a third to them as we get hit by G-Max Smite, taking us to a third and confusing us. We use Dig again to take it to red health as we get hit with Psychic, taking us to just 10 health. We hit Thunderbolt through confusion, taking it down. The next person in the finals is Nessa, but before that I made sure to give the Eviolite back to Albert. First up is Gliscopod, who's a one-shot with Thunderbolt. Next is Barraskewda, who hits us with a weak Drill Run as we one-shot it with Thunderbolt. Seeking is next, who's a one-shot with Thunderbolt, followed by Pelipper. Last is Dreadnought, who she Gigantamaxes. We use Dig to avoid Max Darkness. Dig does a little over half health as we get hit with a weak Max Darkness. We use Dig again to take it out. Up next in the finals is B. First up is Hawlucha, who hits us with a crit high jump kick, doing a third as we take it down with Thunderbolt. Next is Phalanx, who's a one-shot with Play Rough. Surfetch is next, who's a one-shot with Play Rough as well. Up next is Grapploct, who goes down with one Play Rough, and last is Machamp. She Gigantamaxes them as we go for Dig to avoid Max Flare. We do a third with Dig as we get hit with a G-Max Chi Strike, taking us just below half. We use Dig again to take it to red as a critical cross chop takes us down to just 26 health. We then finish it off with Thunderbolt. The last person we have to face in the finals is Raihan. Versus Torkoal, who sets up the sun with its ability. We use Dig as it tries to use Yawn. Dig takes it to just above red health as we get hit with a weak Solar Beam. Raihan uses a full restore as we hit it with Thunderbolt, taking it down to red. One more Thunderbolt takes it out. Next is Flygon, who sets up the Sandstorm as we take it out with Play Rough. Third Nature is next, who sets up the Sun with Sunny Day as we do a third with Thunderbolt. We then use Dig to take it out. Up next is Screwdriver, who's a one-shot with Play Rough, and last is his Duraludon. He Gigantamaxes and is faster than us now, and hits us with a weak Max Rocks Fall as we use Dig. It misses Max Knuckle, and Dig takes it down to half health. It then hits us with G-Max Depletion, taking us down to a third as we use Dig again to take it out. Well, that was really easy. The only one who even remotely challenged us was Bidet, and that was mostly because I forgot to give Albert a held item before the fight. Honestly, Raihan could have been quite scary if he didn't waste half the battle just setting up different weather effects. With everyone in the finals beaten, we're ready to take on the champion. But first, we need to stop Chairman Rose. First up is a Scavalier, who's a one-shot with Fire Fang. Next is Ferrothorn, who goes down with Fire Fang as well as we take a bit of damage from Iron Barbs. Berserker is next, who survives a Fire Fang and hits us with Cross Chop. We miss our next Fire Fang as it crits us with another Cross Chop, taking us down to half health. We then finish it off with one more Fire Fang. Then Clang is up next. It hits us with a weak Assurance as we use Dig. It then misses Assurance as we take it out with Dig. Last is Copperada, who he Gigantamaxes. We use Dig as it misses Max Quake. Dig takes it to half health as Max Quake finishes us off. I'm pretty sure we'll win if I use Dig on Berserker so we don't get hit. The next attempt went like this. First up is a Scavalier, who goes down with Fire Fang. Next up is Ferrothorn, who's one shot with Fire Fang, as we take a bit of damage from Iron Barbs. Next up is Berserker, who misses Throat Chop as we use Dig to take it out. Clang is next, who hits us with a weak Assurance as we use Dig. It manages to survive Dig as it hits us with another Assurance as we take it out with Thunderbolt. Last is Copperaja, who he Gigantamaxes. We use Dig as he misses a Max Quake. Dig takes it down to half health as Max Quake hits us, leaving us with just 41 HP. We go for Dig again as it misses one last Max Quake as it runs out of Gigantamax turns. We then hit it with Dig to take it out. Now that Chairman Rose is out of the way, we have to go and take on Eternatus. The first phase of the fight is an easy win with 2 digs. Once it Gigantamaxes, we now have help from Hop, as well as Zacian and Zamazenta. Me and Hop don't really do that much damage to Eternatus now, but Zacian and Zamazenta take it out pretty quickly with a few Behemoth Blades and Behemoth Bashes. Now that the Darkest Day has been stopped, we finally get to take on the champion. Yeah, this isn't happening. I tried a few times, but there's nothing we can do. This is the best attempt that I had. First up is Aegislash. We use Thunderbolt as it blocks it with King's Shield. We use Thunderbolt again to get it down to a third as it fails to use King's Shield again. Another Thunderbolt brings it down to red health as it hits us with Shadow Ball. Leon then heals it with a full restore as we take it back down to red health with another Thunderbolt. One more Thunderbolt takes it out. Next is Haxorus, who's faster than us and hits us with an Earthquake, taking us down to just above red health as we take it to red health for Play Rough. One more Earthquake takes us out. Even if we get lucky and take out Aegislash without getting hit, and take down Haxorus with one Play Rough, Earthquake still gets us really low, and since both Dragapult and Inteleon have way more speed than us, we just get taken out by them. We can't let any move to help us, and even if there was a held item that could help us, we'd be sacrificing the defense we get from the Eviolite. It's unfortunate, but I just don't see a way to win this. Well, it's a shame we couldn't win, but I still found the challenge pretty fun. The gyms are an absolute roller coaster, going from being an absolute brick wall to an absolute sweep. There were definitely some battles that tested my patience, but considering I wasn't even sure if I could beat the Dragon Gym for a while, I'm really happy with the fact that I managed to get to a champion at all. I've decided I'm going to try and do one of these challenges once per month, since they are pretty fun but they do take up quite a bit of time. After that one, I think something a bit easier will be a bit more fun for the next one. So with that being said, the next challenge will be, can I beat Pokemon Shining Pearl for the team of only gift Pokemon? With that being said, I'll see you on the next video. So for those of you who watch Madrybread, he does a thing at the end of his videos where he kind of just does a little talk about, how the run went and all that, and I kind of like that, so kind of want to give it a try. I mean, honestly, I've never suffered so much thanks to a little Pikachu clone. I didn't even know that Morpeko was as good as it was. Like, why does it have such high speed and attack? Also, again, I know I brought it up earlier, but like, how exactly does Toxic hit you through the ground? Like, the Dark Gym took me a couple of tries, mainly because of that. Because I didn't think I could get hit by Toxic, and yet when I did, it kind of ruined the whole run. But, I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, that's about all I really want to talk about, just a little rant about certain things that caused me immense pain throughout that challenge. But yeah, hope to see you all of you in the next one.